name is Dustin Norris, and this is my Pichakuna or Pichakucha on attachment models. What is an attachment model? How do our parents and surroundings as a child give way to our personality as an adult? Attachment models can contribute to our everyday interactions, even if we know it or not. Attachment models are the caregivers in our first stages of life and help guide us and help us become the person we will be as adults. The amount of time and care they provide is always different, but what they do determines more than you know. If our caregivers are kind, considerate, and always there for us, then we can have a sense of exploration in our lives and reciprocate the same attitudes and care to others like we once received. Those who have had strong attachment models can have a greater trust overall as well. On the other hand, if our caregivers are not as present in our lives, then we can become distant from others and more likely to be scared and worrisome in life. Those who have a weaker attachment model can develop trust issues as well as social anxiety and trouble making relationships with others. There are different types of attachments, and as of right now, there are four that are able to be described: secure, insecure avoidant, insecure ambivalent, and insecure disorganized. The first three categories all have organized personalities, while the last one tends to be more disorganized than not. What are the causes and effects of these four personalities? To start everything off, we have the secure personality. This comes from a healthy relationship from either a single or both parents, consistent eye contact, and support throughout the developing years of childhood, and much more. People who fall underneath this category have a positive outlook on life and a positive self-image as well. When kids have a strong positive relationship with their parents, they have a greater grip on their lives and their self-image as a whole. Next, we have the insecure avoidant personality. The main way that this type of personality can form is if the amount of attention a child needs isn't always sufficient, regardless if the parent thinks so or not. Each child behaves differently and needs different amounts of attention. When a child feels like their caregiver can behave unpredictably in their attention, then the child can become clingy as a result. When a child needs to raise their voices and in some cases create a scene, it's only because the child is in need of attention and care when there is a lack of it. In a response to this, the parent will respond, but the responses won't always feel genuine. Those who fall under the insecure avoidant category can also be placed under the anxious ambivalent title. This is because as these children get older, to others they can seem to be moody or even unpredictable in nature overall. When it comes to the self-image of these people, it's often seen as less positive than the secure personality all in all. Next up is insecure ambivalent. This can come from a family or a caregiver who truly loves you, but doesn't want an excessive emotion to be present in their lives either. Whenever there is too much emotion, or the caregiver believes you are acting out because of it, then a form of punishment may be dealt out to the child. Children who grow up with the association of excess emotion and pain end up being more quiet and are less likely to speak out or show much of any emotion at all. Even if it is a form of happiness, to them any form of emotion can lead to a risk of punishment. These children find it harder to make friends and be as expressive as others growing up. Because of all of this, in adult life, relationships are harder to fixate on and keep a steady hold of because of the lack of emotion that we can given from said adult. These people can fall under another category called anxious avoidant and have a rather negative self-image of themselves. Lastly, we have insecure disorganized, people who fall Lastly, we have insecure or disorganized. People who fall under this category are usually raised in households of poor and low interest in attention. When they do receive attention, it can be met with anger or even abuse in most cases. When a child is raised under this type of parenting and influence, it can become rather difficult for a child to fully understand who to trust and who to go to for safety. If the ones that are supposed to care for them during their infancy punish them for no reason most of the time, then how are they supposed to view others in life? As a result of this, most children in this category avoid most, if not all, possible social situations as a way to avoid any means of conflict, and high levels of insecurity and social problems can occur from this as well. Any hint of social interaction can bring them anxiety and even panic attacks. Relationships in adult life for these people can be very difficult, as with the childhood that they have lived through, they find themselves unworthy and unqualified for love at this stage of life. On top of everything else, their self image as a result is very negative as well. People who fall under this category are also referred as anxious disorganized. These type of attachment models can form and become set in stone at very early years of life. At this stage, we are just learning to talk if we can even speak, and our vocabulary is strictly limited at that. When we cannot express our emotions and anxiety through words, it's up to the caregivers and parents to understand what's needed. When it comes to deciding what attachment style a child has at a young age, a mother and a child are placed in a room and they play for a few minutes, and then the mother leaves, followed by the return of the mother. When she does this, the reaction the child emits can determine the attachment style they possess. When it comes to the overall importance of attachment and the different categories there are, each has its own role and importance. Depending on the specific role you have, it can also lead to different ways of your overall health in life. Lots of studies have shown the effects of attachment models. So if you ever are a parent, make sure to look out for the way to raise your child and how to take care of them properly.